speaking, and the appearance as a living soul, so that he may gaze upon Herakuti, to the Ka of the Osiris, the scribe Ani, who speaketh truth before Osiris, and who saith, Hail, O all ye gods of the house of the soul, who weigh heaven and earth in a balance, who give celestial food to the dead. Hail, Tatun, who art one. One, thou creator. Homage to thee, O thou who hast come as Kepara, Keperah, the creator of the gods. Thou art seated on thy throne. Thou risest up in the sky, illuminating thy mother Nut. Thou art seated on thy throne as the king of the gods. Thy mother Nut stretcheth out her hands, and performeth an act of homage to thee. The domain of Manu receiveth thee with satisfaction. The goddess Ma'at embraceth thee at the two seasons of the day. May Ra give glory and power and truth speaking, and the appearance as a living soul, so that he may gaze upon Hera-Kuti, to the Ka of the Osiris, the scribe Ani, who speaketh truth before Osiris, and who saith, Hail, O all ye gods of the house of the soul, who weigh heaven and earth in a balance, who give celestial food to the dead. Hail Tatun, who art one, thou creator of mortals and of the companies of the gods of the south and of the north, of the west and of the east. Ascribe ye praise to Ra, the Lord of heaven, the King, life, strength, and health, the maker of the gods. Give ye thanks unto him in his beneficent form, which is enthroned in the Atet boat. Beings celestial, praise thee. Beings terrestrial, praise thee. Thoth and the goddess Ma'at mark out thy course for thee day by day and every day. Thine enemy, the serpent, hath been given over to the fire. The serpent fiend, Seba'u, hath fallen headlong. His forelegs are bound in chains, and his hind legs hath Ra carried away from him. The sons of revolt shall never more rise up. The house of the aged one keepeth festival, and the voices of those who make merry are in the great place. The gods rejoice when they see Ra crowned upon his throne, when his beams flood the world with light. The majesty of this holy God setteth out on his journey, and he goeth onwards until he reacheth the land of Manu. The earth becometh light at his birth each day. He proceedeth until he reacheth the place where he was yesterday. O be thou at peace with me. Let me gaze upon thy beauties. Let me journey above the earth. Let me smite the ass. Let me slit asunder the serpent fiend, Seba'u. Let me destroy Apep at the moment of his greatest power. Let me behold the Abtu fish at his season, and the antfish with the ant boat as it piloteth it in its lake. Let me behold Horus when he is in charge of the rudder of the boat of Ra, with Thoth and the goddess Ma'at on each side of him. Let me lay hold of the tow rope of the Sektet boat, and the rope of the stern of the Matet boat. Let Ra grant to me a view of the disk and a sight of unfailingly each day. Let my Ba soul come forth to walk about hither and thither, and whithersoever it pleaseth. Let my name be called out. Let it be found inscribed on the tablet which recordeth the names of those who are to receive the offerings. Let meals from the sepulchral offerings be given to me in the presence of Osiris. As to those who are in the following of Horus, let there be prepared for me a seat in the boat of the sun on the day whereon the god saileth. Let me be received in the presence of Osiris in the land of truth speaking, the Ka of Osiris Ani. Nekht, the captain of soldiers, the royal scribe, singeth a hymn of praise to Ra, and saith, Homage to thee, O thou glorious being, thou who art dowered with all sovereignty. O Tem Heru-Kuti, when thou risest in the horizon of heaven, a cry of joy goeth forth to thee from all people. O thou beautiful being, thou dost renew thyself in thy season, the in the form
You
of
give me a pack of
infants
Benadryl.
within thy mother Hathor. Therefore, in every place, every heart swelleth with joy at thy rising forever. The regions of the south and the north come to thee with homage, and send forth acclamations at thy rising on the horizon of heaven. And thou illuminest the two lands with rays of turquoise-colored light. O Ra, who art Heru Kuti, the divine man-child, the heir of eternity, self-begotten and self-born, king of the earth, prince of the Tuat, governor of Alkert, thou didst come from the water god, thou didst spring forth from sky god Nu, who doth cherish thee and order thy members. O thou God of life, thou Lord of love, all men live when thou shinest. Thou art crowned King of the gods. The goddess Nut embraceth thee, and the goddess Mut enfoldeth thee at all seasons. Those who are in thy following sing unto thee with joy, and they bow down their foreheads to the earth when they meet thee, the Lord of heaven, the Lord of the earth, the King of truth, the Lord of eternity, the Prince of everlastingness, thou sovereign of all the gods, thou God of life, thou creator of eternity, thou maker of heaven, wherein thou art firmly established. The company of the gods rejoice at thy rising. The earth is glad when it beholdeth thy rays. The people who have been long dead come forth with cries of joy to behold thy beauties every day. Thou goest forth each day over heaven and earth, and thou art made strong each day, be thy mother Nut. Thou passest over the heights of heaven, thy heart swelleth with joy, and the lake of Testus is content thereat. The serpent fiend hath fallen, his arms are hewn off, the knife hath severed his joints. Ra liveth by Ma'at, the beautiful. The septet boat advanceth and cometh into port. The south and the north, and the west and east, turn to praise thee, O thou first, great God, who didst come into being of thine own accord. Isis and Nephthys salute thee. They sing unto thee songs of joy at thy rising in the boat. They stretch out their hands unto thee. The souls of the east follow thee, and the souls of the west praise thee. Thou art the ruler of all the gods. Thou in thy shrine hast joy, for the serpent fiend Nak hath been judged by the fire, and thy heart shall rejoice forever. Thy mother Nut is esteemed by thy father Nu. Hymn to Osiris Un-Nefer. A hymn of praise to Osiris Un-Nefer, the great god who dwelleth in Abtu, the King of eternity, the Lord of everlastingness, who traversed millions of years in his existence. Thou art the eldest son of the womb of Nut. Thou was begotten by Keb, the Erpat. Thou art the Lord of the Ert crown. Thou art he whose white crown is lofty. Thou art the King of gods and men. Thou hast gained possession of the scepter of rule, and the whip, and the rank and dignity of thy divine fathers. Thy heart is expanded with joy, O thou who art in the kingdom of the dead. Thy son Horus is firmly placed on thy throne. Thou hast ascended thy throne as the Lord of Tetu, and as the Hek who dwelleth in Abydos. Thou makest the two lands to flourish through truth-speaking, in the presence of him who is the Lord to the uttermost limit. Thou drawest on that which hath not yet come into being in thy name of Ta-her-Staneth. Thou governest the two lands by Ma'at in thy name of Seker. Thy power is widespread. Thou art he of whom the fear is great in thy name of Usar. Thy existence endureth for an infinite number of double Henti periods in thy name of Un-Nefer. Homage to thee, King of Kings, and Lord of Lords, and Prince of Princes. Thou hast ruled the two lands from the womb of the goddess Nut. Thou hast governed the lands of Akert. Thy members are of silver gold. Thy head is of lapis lazuli, and the crown of thy head is of turquoise. Thou art An of millions of years. Thy body is all pervading, O beautiful face in Taj Assert. Grant thou to me glory in heaven, and power upon earth, and truth speaking in the divine underworld, and the power to sail down the river to Tetu in the form of a living Ba soul, and the power to sail up the river to Abydos in the form of a Beru bird, and the power to pass in through and to pass out from, without obstruction, the doors of the lords of the Tuat. Let there be given unto me bread cakes in the house of refreshing, and sepulchral offerings of cakes and ale, and propitiatory offerings in Anu, and a permanent homestead in Seket Aru, with wheat and barley therein, to the double of the Osiris, the scribe Ani. The chapters of coming forth by day. Here begin the chapters of coming forth by day, and the songs of praising and glorifying, which are to be recited for coming forth, and for entering into Kert Neter, and the spells which are to be said in beautiful Amentet. They shall be recited on the day of the funeral, entering in after coming forth. The Osiris, the scribe Ani saith, Homage to thee, O bull of Amentet. Thoth, the king of eternity, is with me. I am the great God by the side of the divine boat. I have fought for thee. I am one of those gods, those divine chiefs, who proved the truth-speaking of Osiris before his enemies on the day of the weighing of words. I am thy kinsman, Osiris. I am one of those gods who were the children of the goddess Nut, who hacked in pieces the enemies of Osiris, and who bound in fetters the legion of Seba'u devils on his behalf. I am thy kinsman, Horus. I have fought on thy behalf. I have come to thee for thy name's sake. I am Thoth, who proved the truth of the words of Osiris before his enemies on the day of the weighing of words in the great house of the prince who dwelleth in Anu. I am Teti, the son of Teti. My mother conceived me in Tetu, and gave birth to me in Tetu.
What have I told you?
His car obtained an AR-15 and opened fire on sheriff's deputies, according to local police. An AR-15 and opened fire on after she managed to slip out of her handcuffs in the back. Oklahoma woman is in jail after she managed to slip out of her handcuffs in the back of a police car, obtained an AR-15, and opened fire on sheriff's deputies, according to local police. The shocking moments were captured on the car's internal camera and police body cams. On Friday, Grady County Sheriff's deputies performed a welfare check on a woman found crawling around someone's yard while barking, according to the charging documents filed in court. The woman identified herself as 36-year-old Rachel Zion Clay. Police handcuffed her and placed her in protective custody in the back of a police car, according to the court documents. But while deputies were outside the car taking statements from civilians nearby, Clay managed to slip out of her cuffs and access a console in the front seat labeled gun, the undersheriff said in an interview. They say she was then able to load a round into the chamber and fire outside the vehicle. Body camera footage released by police show moments shots rang out. Confusion as deputies try to figure out what just happened.
Hey, I'm hit right here.
And one civilian receiving a wound to the chest. He's later taken to the hospital, according to NBC affiliate KFOR, while the sheriff's deputy is only grazed by the bullet. As the deputies and the wounded bystander take cover and call for backup, more shots ring out.
What the heck?
Law enforcement expert Cheryl Dorsey weighing in on the incident.
Sometimes women are smaller frame and they have the ability to slip their hands through the cuff, even though the cuff may itself be locked.
With the arrival of backup begins an hours-long standoff as Clay barricades herself in the police car, refusing to emerge. After 3.5 hours of negotiations with police and the deployment of an armored breaching vehicle, the woman finally surrenders.
If it means saving a life, you take as much time as you need in order to bring this tactical situation to a successful conclusion.
Court documents from her arraignment on Monday include notes she allegedly managed to write while barricaded, revealing her disturbed state of mind. Efforts to reach Clay were unsuccessful.
Peace and love. What up, though? What it do? What's popping? What's cracking? What's happening? And then times 9 times 10. It's 90, right? Still get a 9. So, boom. What they say this was at Oklahoma? This woman and slipped out the handcuffs and grabbed the cop's AR-15 from out the compartment where it was being kept, and it was a sign on it that said gun, and she shoots a civilian as well as a cop, and they're able to what they call apprehend her without shooting her or choking her or kneeling on her neck or punching her in her face or putting their knees in her back. You know how they did the 12-year-old and the 11-year-old and the 13-year-old and the 9-year-old and the 8-year-old melanated boys and girls. Although she's an adult, that's not my point. My point is, let's go back. What type of gun was that? Y'all know I ain't good. If it ain't a 38 special or a 9mm, I'm not gonna too much remember, or a 380. You better not do that. Let's go back, because I want to hear exactly what type of gun this was before we get into the actual bill.
Shocking moments were captured on the car's internal camera and police body cams. On Friday, Grady County Sheriff's deputies performed a welfare check on a woman found crawling around someone's yard while barking, according to the charging documents filed in court. The woman identified herself as 36-year-old Rachel Zion Clay. Police handcuffed her and placed her in protective custody in the back of a police car, according to the court documents. But while deputies were outside the car taking statements from civilians nearby, Clay managed to slip out of her cuffs and access a console in the front seat labeled gun, the undersheriff said in an interview. They say she was then able to load a round into the chamber and fire outside the vehicle. Body camera footage released by police show moments shots rang out. Confusion as deputies try to figure out what just happened.
Maybe I'm hit right here.
And one civilian receiving a wound to the chest, he's later taken to the hospital, according to NBC affiliate KFOR, while the sheriff's deputy is only grazed by the bullet. As the deputies and the wounded bystander take cover and call for backup, more shots ring out.
What the heck?
Law enforcement expert Cheryl Dorsey weighing in on the incident.
Okay.
Sometimes women are smaller frame and they have the ability to slip their hands through the cup, even though the cup may itself be locked.
With the arrival of backup begins an hours-long standoff as Clay barricades herself in the police car, refusing to emerge. After 3.5 hours of negotiations with police and the deployment of an armored breaching vehicle, the woman finally surrenders.
If it means saving a life, you take as much time as you need in order to bring this tactical situation to a successful conclusion.
Court documents from her arraignment on Monday include notes she allegedly managed to write while barricaded, revealing her disturbed state of mind. Efforts to reach Clay were unsuccessful, and she was not represented by an attorney at her initial court appearance.
It was a compilation of errors. I get that you want to have easy access to a AR-15, but not when you have a suspect in your vehicle. Another officer could have and should have been monitoring visually the suspect who was seated behind the.
Oh, I thought I pushed the thing. My bad, y'all. Hold tight.
The car.
Clay was charged with 3 counts of shooting with intent to kill, and according to court documents, is currently being held on $1 million bail.
All right, Miley.
God dang it. Trying to get the closed caption off. I want to see when they got her out the car.
Here in studio. So
It looked like she still
different now because obviously this.
had the
She
gun.
allegedly managed to write while barricaded, revealing her disturbed state of mind. Efforts to reach Clay were unsuccessful, and she was not represented by an attorney at her initial court appearance.
It was a compilation of errors. I get that you want to have easy access to a.
Negotiations
Okay,
with
so
police
this is
and
where
the
she's
deployment
getting
of an
out, so-
armored breaching vehicle, the
Hold
woman
on, hold on.
finally.
Okay, so y'all can watch this with me. I want to see if she still had the AR-15 in her hand when they, as they say, apprehended her, you know. Okay, I see a hand in the air, so.
Police surrenders.
If it means.
Yeah, she still got the fucking gun in her hand. Look at here. Let me go back. Why am I in disbelief? Okay, again, this, and she's supposedly having a mental breakdown, but they always seem to murder our people. Again, she shoots the cops and a bystander with their own AR-15 after they put her in the car. They obviously then put the shackles, or what y'all call handcuffs, on her tightly how they put them on us, because she was able to slide out. And they're saying, oh, you know, a woman has a smaller frame, and when you put them shackles on our babies, you put them on so tight that when you take them off, they got marks and shit around their arms and cuts. Let's go. Hold on. I have to see this in live action.
And finally surrenders.
If it
Boom,
means.
right there. Hold on. Do I need to go back a little bit? You have got to be fucking kidding me. Look here. I'm going to leave it just like that. Look.
If it
Yes,
means safe.
there it is. If you couldn't see that, you need to hook it up to your laptop or your TV or something.
If it,
Because I'm not hitting it where I should hit it at, but I'm about to get it.
Cole, the woman finally surrenders.
You can see it a little bit if you look. Again, that would be your left, but it's in her right hand. A fucking
if it
AR-15.
means saving a life, you take as much time as you need.
I'm done. I'm done with that. Take it off. Unbelievable. Shoots the cops with their own AR-15, and when she gets off the back of the car, like I just showed you, she still had it in her hand, and she lives. She gets a bond or a ransom. Oh my God, this is terrible. Times 9 times 10. This is so Terry Bell. Just not, it don't even seem realistic to me no more to even, have these discussions or whatnot. Again, my suggestion is we start small. Start off with that safety belt, since they love to flash them emergency lights. Speaking of, while I'm doing this YouTube shit, which I done kind of jacked up a little bit, y'all, but we'll deal with it later on. Let me see, how can I do this? I'm not gonna even show the video again. It's a video from Indisputable with Dr.Rashad Richie, right? And they're talking about the most recent cop to get fired after, actually she was a police officer for the city of Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, Ohio, right? And her own body cam records her calling little melanated children the N-word, right? So she's, finally they fire her, right? But I noticed the brother, Dr. Rashad, made remarks concerning the fact that if this cop had not turned her emergency lights on, that the body cam would have never came on and she would have never got caught. But due to the fact that she turned them emergency lights on, you understand? But that's not what he said. He said that she turned her sirens and what he said, she turned her siren and lights on, which is true. It made the camera come on, but he made the statement of she's not supposed to turn those lights on unless she witnesses a crime or someone is about to commit a crime or she's about to pull someone over. And all those lights are called emergency lights for a reason. She put the emergency lights on because she didn't like the fact that traffic near a school, mind you, was not moving at a pace that she wanted it to progress at. So she turned on them emergency lights and, started to make threats or whatnot. And when people didn't move out of her way as fast as she would like for them to move out of her way, she started saying, I hate them, N-word, I hate them. So now she has no job. But I just, if anybody out there is closely connected to the brother, Dr. Rashad Richie, let him know that those lights, they're not supposed to turn those lights on unless there is an emergency or a crime being committed. Right? Traffic not moving the way you want it to move because you're trying to end your shift. Not you're going to catch criminals. You're trying to get back to the station so that you can end your shift and get on with your day. The same way that those parents were attempting to either drop the children off to school or pick them up, the same way that the children who you were calling an N-word were attempting to get to school or home from school, right? But to her, these children mean nothing. Okay? So with that being said, if this is the attitude of one patrol person, you understand, who has been a patrol person for more than a decade, I'm sure, you cannot sit here and tell me that the majority of the other patrol men and women don't share those very same sentiments. That's just like saying you've been a hip-hop artist on a major record label. The name of the record label is Cincinnati Police Department, and you ain't producing no hits. You mean to tell me you have worked for I'm about to do them like Judge Joe Brown. You mean to tell me you worked for this police department for 10 years. And your colleagues are not like-minded individuals. They're in the same business as you in. I'm asking. They're in the same business you in. But you're the only one that's racist, that hate little melanated children. Because that's what she said. She said, I hate them. I hate them. Then she called them the N-word multiple times. While her body cam was activated again by way of her turning on them emergency lights when there was no emergency. She wasn't on her way to even save a cat out of a fucking tree. What's her name is? Let's see what had happened. I hope it don't start over because I can't.
Cop suspended, using the N-word, being openly racist. Let's put it in the picture for basketball in Cincinnati. A Cincinnati officer's police powers have been suspended after her body cam captured her saying a racial slur while on duty and in uniform. Her name is Rose Valentino.
Okay, so Rose Valentino. He mentioned she was in uniform. She was in a damn cop car when she committed this verbiage that shouldn't have been coming out of her lips. Because Valentino, now I'm looking at her hair is dark. You know, Valentino, that sounds very Italian to me. I could be wrong, but it sounds very Italian. Valentino. I hate them. I hate them. I guess so. I guess so. Well, your people really hate Johannes Morris. Again, Valentino sounds very Italian to me. Let me see what happened.
Officer Rose was wearing a body camera, and it was recording while she was driving past Western Hills University High School on her way to the District 3 station. The officer turned her lights and sirens to signal for parked cars waiting to pick up students to move on, saying, "You gotta move."
All right, so this is, you know, this doesn't put me, this doesn't push me into disbelief. It's not hard to believe that, you know, a patrol person, highwayman or woman, cop, policia, whatever you want to call them, is using this type of language and displaying hate again for little melanated children. Right? I hate them. You know, it's just a feeling. It's been a minute since I've been in Cincinnati. I would say, yeah, year 2000 Cincinnati Jazz Fest or whatnot. And being around the police is just any police, but in particularly, since we're talking about Cincinnati, yeah, it's real, you know, transparent. Let's just say that, how they feel about melanated people. So you can point to me, you know, you can point out the fact that there are melanated Cincinnati policemen and women, right? That's fine. It was melanated men who were employed by some of these invader colonists that was whooping your ancestors' ass too. So you saying that to me means nothing. I understand that. So let's get here what we came here to do. Right? Let's get here what we came here to do. Because this has been the discussion since Serena is going into retirement, right? And I will have to tell you that the answer, that's not the answer. That's not why. Again, when we never actually did an actual debate concerning Michelle Obama being a man or not. Is she a male? Is she not? You know what I'm talking about? We never really actually did an official debate concerning that. But there is some footage of me and my brother D Calico going back and forth a little bit about that, you know. And even back then, as we had that discussion, you know, as a point of reference, what I said to Brother D. Calico was this: if you are going to say that Michelle Obama is a man, or you believe that she is a man, or what you call that, transvestite, that's how we say it up here in the D, because, or trans Van Dyke, just, you know what I'm talking about? Dick Van Dyke, that's what we, you know, call it up here, is French. Anyway, if you believe, again, that Michelle Obama is not a woman, you also have to believe that Serena and Venus are men as well. I said this to him, and it's a reason why I said this to him. I'm regurgitating my own self by telling y'all this. First and foremost, the same way back in the day, if you are a person who is into knowledge of self, or what has been labeled by some as right knowledge, y'all call it woke in the conscious community and all of this other shit today. Again, I keep expressing to you all that once upon a time it was just the videotapes from the grassroots lecture circuit is what it was. And we took the VHS tapes and we turned them into DVDs. Voila. Well, the same way that we were accessing that information back in the mid and late 90s, for those of you who, you know, are my age, there were other VHS tapes that were available to us with the likes of a Jordan Maxwell, David Icke. I always fuck his name up. We even had cassette tapes of this type of shit back then. You understand? Now, those are kind of top names. If I mention David Icke, or I mention Jordan Maxwell, some of y'all kind of know those names, right? If I mention, well, I always want to call him William Perry. Bill Cooper, William Cooper, you know what I'm saying? Behold a Pale Horse and all that. Y'all, you know, those are popular names, so you're kind of familiar with it. But if I mention a Free World Alliance, and I'm going to pull out some of these old DVD books on y'all ass in a minute. But my point being is this: these are, you know, the pale people, right? They have their, what y'all labeled as conspiracy theorists and shit like that too, right? Or you just say that they crazy or whatever you're gonna say. You understand? Now, nobody with any type of just common sense is not gonna sit up and listen to 2 and 3 and 4 hours worth of so-called lectures of just lies. You understand? At that point, you know, you have to look at it as entertainment. You can't look at it as any form of scholarship, because it's not, if that's what it is, right? But this is not what's happening. You're getting bits and pieces of actual factual information along with a bunch of satire, fake shit. You understand? Now, the reason I'm bringing up some of these various movements and various militias, and even within some of their sovereign movements or sovereign citizen movements, going back into the 80s up into the mid 90s, a lot of them were straight up skinhead, Aryan nationhood, what do you call, you know what I'm talking about, the KKK peoples and shit. What they, you know what I'm talking about? They were making the same type of documentaries that you are seeing being played out today. And this shit goes back to Grace Jones, calling her a man, and Evelyn Champagne King. You know what I'm talking about? One of my favorites, singers or whatnot from the 80s. You know what I'm talking about? They even said she was a man. Who created this type of propaganda and satire and put it out there for our people to mimic? You understand? That's not why they put it out there, though. You know what I'm saying? They put it out there, especially in this particular climate where you're talking about the Obamas. You're talking about Barack getting into the White House and so on and so forth, as if it wasn't already planned out. But that's not my point. My point is this: the almost have-nots, you can call them, because when you look at most of these pale racist people that need to go home, you know what I'm talking about, and take the other ones with your ass, who made various documentaries and shit and literature. We're gonna get into Alex Jones in a minute. Just stick with me on all of this shit because I kind of left him out of this and I should have never did that. You know what I'm talking about? Because right now, did he lose that lawsuit yet? He's being sued by the parents of the children who he said that they didn't get killed, that was a psyop and all this other fake shit that y'all like to follow. You understand? It goes back to what I said originally and what I say originally in every situation, whether you guys are attempting to defend the fucking pedophile or say that these people didn't get murdered. This is a distraction that your government paid for in order to distract you niggas from what. You're not gonna do shit about nothing. They don't have to create no distractions for you motherfuckers. Let me say that. Let me get my cuss words out right quick. Okay, so let's deal with this, right? Again, they even have videos on YouTube where they have Barack Obama face going from his face to Bin Laden face and shit. Like, y'all was just, who the fuck do you think was sponsoring this shit and paying for that shit? These little redneck hillbilly motherfuckers, what y'all call them, white trash, racist as fuck, mad about this man being in that White House with that melanated woman, you know what I mean, who is responsible for breastfeeding some of the intellectuals that they did have in their bloodline, right? That's who made all of that fake shit up, right? You explain to me, does it make sense? Does it make sense for, we say that this is a racist regime or a racist nation. I call it a fucking cartel, right? Does it make sense that they would finance putting a homosexual, transsexual, whatever y'all saying that this woman is? You think that they would pay for that? I'm asking. You would have to be completely incompetent to believe that they would fund some shit like that. We're talking about the people who have figured out a way to get us to fund our own goddamn oppression. So you think that they about to pay to cover up a melanated man who's portraying himself as a fucking woman and let him sashay himself all through a White House? Casablanca, are you fucking stupid? So let's go back. I talked about converting the old lectures from VHS into DVDs. I talked about the Poppy Bush. Y'all remember the Poppy Bush documentary? If you go on YouTube right now, some of the shit that you've seen, this shit come from the fucking 90s and early 2000s. It wasn't even made on DVD. Shit was made on VHS. So now they've watered a lot of it down and added their own little narrations to it, right? And if you listen to any of this garbage, you notice that the voices are similar. Those who are doing the narration of these videos, right? Voice sound the same because it's the same people. And like I told y'all, they've been doing this shit for decades. So again, I told a brother D. Calico, I say, if you saying Michelle Obama is actually a man, then you have to say that about Serena and Venus, because the actual documentary that you guys are getting bits and pieces of off of YouTube now was released. I can't say exactly what year it was released, but the shit was out by 2012, right? Before Joan Rivers made the statement that she made, that documentary had already been released, right? Making these claims. So let's talk about Venus and Serena and Richard, the Faja, Richard, right? The Jehovah's Witness, right? This is the most retarded shit ever. Imagine a melanated man in the late 80s, early 90s in Compton, California, parading two little boys dressed up as little girls. Not just throughout Compton, teaching them tennis, but throughout goddamn Beverly Hills. You know what I'm talking about? You think they about to let a melanated he's not a part of they goddamn society? He wasn't rich. They don't come from money. So there's no way that you could sit here and tell me that this shit make any kind of fucking sense to y'all. The same QAnon and Proud Boy, all that bullshit. So let's talk about Alex Jones for a second, right? Again, he being sued by the Sandy Hook. That's what it is. He talked all that shit for all them years about how that shit didn't actually happen, and them was actors and actresses, and all you melanated supposed to be scholars. You supposed to be so goddamn smart. You followed that shit. Again, right now, I don't know if the case has been settled, but he's admitting that the whole time that he was fucking lying. And y'all follow that shit. He was the first to jump out here with that Obama deception shit or whatever that shit was called. And I'm a guilty party, not because I promoted that information, but I sold the fucking DVDs. Yes, I did. I'm not a fan of the Obamas. I keep telling y'all that. But I'm not going to sit here and let y'all muddy up the water even more. Knowledge of self, or what y'all refer to as a conscious community, the glass is already dirty. The glass of water ain't fucking clean. So why further pollute it with some satire ass racist information that y'all done got from these lying satire ass sites who are pro-Trump? And y'all love Trump. I got no problem. Love who you like. I don't give a fuck. That's not my point. My point is you make us all look fucking incompetent by getting out here talking about Michelle Obama is a man. Venus and Serena is a man. They daddy actually adopted them. They was two little boys. If you don't get the fuck out of here, do you know how much of a nutcase you look like saying that shit? And then you got an L and a Bay and a Day and a Ali and a. If you don't get the fuck out of here, you are dirty in the glass of water with that bullshit. Makes no sense. Your Alex Jones loving ass. You ain't got to love Michelle Obama or Venus or Serena, goddammit, but what you're doing is ass backward. I guarantee you it is. So let's get rid of me for a second. What are pictures at? That ain't the pictures. I'm not going the right way. Take me down a little bit. So these are two little boys, right? That's what you're telling me. Smack dead in the middle of Compton, California. You telling me they daddy was parading them around as two little girls, but they was really two little boys. Again, you make us all look fucking incompetent. Mentally unstable. But again, this is what poor people like to fucking do. Try to shit on every fucking body because your shit ain't together. Right? The melanated men and women who get themselves out of poverty, you hate them. And you gonna support the white man who hate them because they got a couple dollars. They actually have way more motherfucking money than the fucking Alex Jones. And Alex Jones hate that shit because Alex Jones used to get his motherfucking ass kicked by melanated little boys. And this, it's not like I'm just saying this. Alex Jones then said it 1,000 times how the fucking black kids used to whoop his ass. So what do you think he's gonna do, or how he feels about successful melanated men and women? He fucking hates y'all. And this ain't about celebrities. It's not. Because I mentioned Evelyn Champagne King. Evelyn Champagne King is not no multimillionaire. Her celebrity status didn't too much reach beyond melanated households, right? But again, when the rumors like that was put out about her, who passed that shit around in our neighborhood? When the racist what do you call that, tabloid publications made rumors about Grace Jones actually being a man, y'all ain't catch on to that. This the same shit. I don't, your sources is your enemy, is what I'm saying to you. The source of this information come directly from your fucking enemies. Fucking retarded. What else on here? Again, she a man, right? Boy, oh boy. Y'all love the white man. In this day and age, a person who want to be LMNOPQ, trans, sex change, whatever, they don't have to hide that shit. They actually get accolades and shit for it. You know what I mean? They do. They do. They get praised. They get legislation put into place for them and every fucking thing. So make it make sense. Again, these women have a history, right? They went to school. They got kindergarten, first, second, third grade pictures, middle school pictures, high school pictures. They got birth records. They got 2 parents. Make it make sense. What is your proof that Venus and Serena were actually born little boys? Your proof is the white man, the jealous white man who hate the fact that these 2 sisters, and you can put Michelle Obama and Sierra in there too, if you want to, are successful. And they somewhere being redneck hillbilly scratching they fucking ass. Right? Period. This is your source. This is your truth. This is what you keep telling me. You need to do your research. You need to do your... I know what the fucking source is. So the research ends there. And it don't have to end there. Because again, these women have a history already. Right? Who the fuck you think took time to fucking paste this garbage right here on the screen together? It damn sure wasn't one of us. Trash. It makes you look like trash. Let me go. Come on with the rest of the pictures. Y'all love to hate every fucking body. Everybody. And challenge and debate every motherfucking thing, but yet you still in fucking poverty. Ain't that one of the best pictures of peace be upon him, Michael Jackson, you ever seen in your life? Let's just pause on that for a minute. Don't you wish Mike had babies by both them sisters or something like that? I know what I'm talking about. We wouldn't have no problem with it. All right, let's keep going. I'm getting off topic. I know it. For real? This is a lot. I'm wondering if I'm even in the okay. Okay. Now I know I'm where I'm supposed to be at. So let me see. Boom. Okay. Again, like I said, I know y'all done seen these pictures 1,000 times. But the point being is, you don't think that this young woman growing up in Chicago, you don't think that out of 1 million plus people in that city, whether she was in the first grade, second grade, third grade, it's 30 other students possibly in those classes with her. So you think the alphabet gangs and the CIA and Illuminati just killed off all the students that all of these people went to school with and shit? You are fucking retarded. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry because you making us look bad. Bad. We cannot, with y'all pushing this type of satire, fake ass, racist ass information, nobody is ever gonna respect us. You don't deserve your sovereignty when you out here pushing somebody else's fucking narrative, and you don't even recognize what the fucking narrative is. You don't recognize that all of this shit came out. Michelle and Barack Obama was around before he got in the White House, right? Don't you find it strange that once they crossed that threshold into that goddamn White House, all of a sudden she a man? I guarantee you that if Venus and Serena weren't as good as they are at tennis, we wouldn't be having this goddamn conversation. And that's because the racist neo-Nazi skinhead motherfuckers who make these type of documentaries wouldn't have cared about Venus and Serena because they weren't a threat, right? But the minute your ass win a Wimbledon, how you say that? Wimbledon. I don't know how to say that. Wimbledon. Is it a T in it? I think ain't no Wimbledon. Belton. I was saying, had they not won none of that shit, we would not be having this conversation. Let me see what had happened. Let me go back. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that too. They say Wakanda did not originate from America. It came from Kenya, Africa. No amount of YouTube videos will ever change the facts. So we're gonna deal with that in 1 second. Give me a minute. I'm gonna wrap up on this. Like, I just can't believe. Sister told me that she is from Compton. I said, you need to go to Compton and do some research on Venus and Serena. She said, I am from Compton. Well, my response was this: if you from Compton, you capping like a motherfucker. Because I don't know not one individual who is from Compton who would amen that bullshit that y'all talking about, saying that these women is men. They would look at you like you are fucking on crack. And that's how you look. You look like you suspect as fuck. Peace and love, family, relatives. I'm trying to find this shit right quick. Okay. You know, this shit must have got up under my skin and shit because it pulled out. All right, we about to see who started commenting on this shit. Let's go back. So, in case you are wondering what we were discussing, sister, trash, straight trash. Let me see. In the banner, what? Yeah, y'all got fried. I just my thing is this. It's the source again. Again, anybody who wish to debate this, you know what I'm saying? Because me just talking about it, we could do this all day. Like I said, it's too much evidence that points toward them being women versus zero evidence outside of you going to Google and getting some Pinterest. How you say that shit? You know what I'm talking about? All this fake shit. Fucking Proud Boys. Boom. Where I'm at. 22 replies. Oh my God. So boom, this is me. This is a woman born a female. She's not a trainee. She may not be attracted to melanated men, but nevertheless, she's still a woman. Again, this satire y'all keep passing around is a bad look for the so-called conscious community. This calling melanated women trainees was started by racist KKK neo-Nazi skinheads. Now, let me pause right there. There's one brother who, no, we don't even, you know, you don't rock with me, bro. So I don't even know why you got on here and asked the question. And this is Divine Ill. He says, oh, can I show him where it's proof that here it is? What links or reports or publications of the KKK, neo-Nazis, and skinhead call black women trans? I want to review this claim of yours because if it's true, I want to put them on blast for the offense. Bullshit, you're not about to do nothing. Brother, they've been doing this shit, like I said, since Grace Jones, since Evelyn Champagne King, calling melanated women, successful melanated women, men. You're not going to do shit about it. Do something about, you know what I'm talking about? If you know what I mean? Take an interest in this. And I named Free World Alliance. I don't know the name of all of these. I'll go through some collections as time passes when I got time to. You know what I'm saying? But I named one. I named several when me and D Calico did that little bill. It's the same people that did that DVD on the Clintons. Remember Bill Clinton, y'all so-called first black president? White folk ain't like that. Them pale people ain't like that. So they drug his ass through the mud just because of what y'all fucking said. He's so cool. He's so black acting. Plus, they knew about his life in Arkansas. You know what I'm talking about? When he was the governor or whatnot. His brother was the Kilo Man and so on and so forth. Like, they drug him through the mud, literally. They literally put a melanated baby on Bill Clinton by way of these little racist documentaries that they make, and had other melanated people regurgitating this shit. So this goes back. If I'm talking about Bill Clinton, then 1996. This how far back these various militias, I call them what they are. They're militias. And that's not even saying anything negative. Right? They have demonized the word militia based off of, again, most of these militias are at the core redneck hillbilly racists. Period. They don't deny that shit either. Okay, so let me do something. I'm about to let me see. Let me stop that, and because I'm about to drop some names. when it comes to these various militias that make these types of documentaries, right? And again, for any of these DVDs to be in my collection, it got to be some truth in them, right? Let's see. And I want y'all to know too, within these various organizations, they stand on, we'll just say they have opposing views when it comes to things like the being RH negative or RH positive as far as the women go during pregnancy. The old blood, they say that's them. Y'all say it's us, they say it's them. So let me see something. Let me see. And I need to know if what's his name, Alex Jones has been convicted. Boom. And a lot of these people use fake names too, of course.
It's a nearly perfect pentagram shape around the zodiac. The pentagram has long been associated with Lucifer, who is also known as Satan. High up in the Andes Mountains, ancient hieroglyphs were discovered on the Inca Temple of the Sun in Lake Titicaca. The hieroglyphs reveal that a golden spaceship from Venus landed there in the dawn of time, bringing what the ancients called gods from outer space. The Sumerians also named the planet where the gods had come from. They called it Nibiru, which means the planet of the crossing. There is only one planet of the crossing that visibly crosses between the Earth and the Sun, and that planet is our closest neighbor, Venus.
Venus, the closest planet to our Earth in size and distance. Only recently has the red planet of Mars surpassed Venus in capturing the attention and imagination of the masses, along with the funding of agencies dedicated to space exploration. But, just as science is steering society toward concentrating on climate change, society should steer science toward further study of our sister planet, Venus. Those in the academic scientific community have disseminated the theory that Venus once had oceans and continents like Earth. It could have supported lush vegetation, perhaps even Earth-like life forms, and they believe it still would if it were not for what they describe as a runaway greenhouse effect. This runaway greenhouse effect caused the Venusian seas to boil and evaporate, creating the dense atmosphere of its modern climate. Now, this theory is somehow absent from any discussion on Earth's global warming, which doesn't make any sense. If our sister planet experienced a warming event identical to what we describe as our global warming, wouldn't that prove that warming is a natural occurrence and not necessarily caused by man? If the answer is no, then would
12 spacebound astronauts whose crippled ship crash landed in the Atlantic Ocean off of Gibraltar on neighboring planet Earth. The astronauts found themselves cast back into the Stone Age with the daunting task of rebuilding their civilization and reinventing science. Like Leonardo da Vinci, masterpiece artist Sandro Botticelli was a member of the secret Priori of Zion Brotherhood. Like da Vinci, Botticelli coded and hid secret knowledge about our human origins into his work. In his painting, The Birth of Venus, Botticelli features the goddess Venus, who is the symbol of planet Venus. The half shell that she's standing in represents the shell-shaped spacecraft that landed in the ocean and was pushed to shore by the winds, which are illustrated at the left of the painting as angelic beings. Greek myth describes how Venus was born from a foam in the sea and taken ashore at Cyprus in the eastern Mediterranean. Cyprus in the eastern Mediterranean is precisely where the sunken island of Atlantis is located, says American researcher Robert Saramast. On a 6-day sea voyage, Saramast and his crew scanned the Mediterranean seabed 80 kilometers southeast of Cyprus using
All right, my point was this: it be the same people over and over. Like I'm saying, you will have to. How does it get over here? Take this down. Yeah, you will have to. And as a matter of fact, I'm about to grab one of these books too. Hold on, y'all. What that book? My whole shit disappeared. That's crazy. So Free World Alliance, that's one. Now that I'm actually looking in this book. We got the people that did that Iron Mountain enigma. I already mentioned Jordan Maxwell. Let me see. Peace be upon him. See now, somebody like a Aaron Russo who did Freedom of Fascism. Now I can rock with that. You understand? But if you are aware of that particular documentary, you know wherever you found out. If you, this is what I'm saying. These were documentaries that were released before YouTube even existed. You understand? So prior to the internet and social media, there were a select few places where you could go and get this type of material, right? And where you went to get this type of material, it was in abundance. We'll just say that. You understand? So you're going to get what you're looking for, and then you're going to grab some things that you're not familiar with, right? So being one of the individuals that used to do this, I will run into their information, right? Let me see. Boom. Yeah. So let's fast forward a little bit. What's the guy who did the bowling for Columbine? He from Michigan too. He from Flint, matter of fact. Huh? Can't hear you. So the bowling for Columbine, right? These are releases that came out that were released on an international basis, we'll just say, as far as a film. But again, those type of budgets, we don't have we even if you just look at what is it, the Hidden Color a series or whatever. That's not an international. Yes, it's not just in the States. I understand it's brothers and sisters in Europe and Brazil and Nigeria and maybe even Ghana who have saw the Hidden Colors series, right? But it's not even, it doesn't even equate to 10% of the amount of people who saw Bowling for Columbine. And what's the, and Fahrenheit 9/11. You know what I mean? That's a larger audience than the fucking Hidden Colors. Now, all three of those sources that I just named are pretty much reputable, however you say that shit. But again, you don't hear them running around claiming that women are men and men are women. And these is grown ass people. I could see if you pointed at a child celebrity and said, that's not really a little boy, that's a little girl, or that's not really a little girl, that's a little boy. But you're talking about adults who are 40 and 45 and 55 years of fucking age. You can't do that and expect to be taken seriously. Now what else is in here? I know it gotta be some more of they shit in one of these books. Let's see. Who was that? Loose Change. Have you seen Loose Change? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that everything within the Loose Change trilogy, because it's a Loose Change 1, it's a Loose Change 2nd edition, and it's a Loose Change Part 3. You understand? And this is where they deal with the towers and 9/11, and, you know, they're alleging that that's a hoax, right? That's what they're saying. Now, I don't have evidence, you know, on the contrary, I don't. I'm not going to sit here and act as if I do. But that's a different scenario. We're talking about someone's sex, right? Imagine how offended you would be if somebody claimed that you weren't a man, that you're really a woman, or you aren't a woman, that you really are a man with a penis. That's offensive. It's disrespectful, right? Now, when you're talking about someone like what's his name, Bruce Jenner, this is public, and this is what I'm talking about. He 50, 60 some years old, right? He makes a decision that he wants to parade around as a woman instead of a man. But he has 50 something years of history of him already being a man. You have to put this in the same category. You're talking about women in their 40s and 50s, again, who have a history, a past that can be viewed and investigated, right? But who in their right fucking mind will want to investigate a woman from Chicago or a woman from Compton, California, to see if maybe they were actually a different sex than what they say they the fuck are? You wait till these men and women, you wait till these women get 40 something years old, black people, black conscious people, to want to challenge their sexuality. Again, conscious community, it would be different. Let me get something up there first. It would be different if prior to the success of, and even early, you know, during the early parts of the success of a Venus and Serena Williams, if in the early part of their success, conscious people were referring to Venus and Serena as men and not women, okay, I could kind of deal with it, because it would be, well, it ain't about QAnon and Free World Alliance or none of these various organizations saying that Venus and Serena are actually boys and their father adopted them. They're not even his real children and shit. If you had already been saying that, but you didn't, melanated conscious community, you were not saying that Venus and Serena were little boys prior to the racist neo-Nazis, people who make these type of documentaries. You weren't saying it prior to them saying it. You weren't saying shit about Michelle Obama actually being a man prior to her success, prior to the peak of her success as being what y'all call the first lady in the White House. Prior to that, conscious community, you wasn't saying nothing about Michelle Obama being a man. You wait until the oppressor and the redneck hillbillies make various racist satire type of documentaries and create literature about him and her, with her, and say that she a man. This one, the conscious community want to say Michelle Obama man. Again, you wait until the racist neo-Nazi motherfuckers, QAnon and all of this other fake satire, fake bullshit. You wait until they say Michelle Obama's a man, and then you come out and say she's a man. And the sister told me that I'm late. She been addressing this since 2018, when even Facebook can show you that I've been addressing this shit since 2012. Joan Rivers did not make that statement that she made about calling Michelle Michael. She didn't make that statement until 2014. Again, y'all didn't peep the scenario. You claim you know how Hollywood functions, right? That's what y'all say. Y'all know how Hollywood functions and shit, right? I can't tell. Because if you knew how they function, when Joan Rivers made that statement, you would have peeped the fact that Joan Rivers had just come out of the camera catcher when she's coming out, right? She just, what do they call, officiated same-sex marriage, right? Number one, she's a comedian. So where does she get the authority to officiate a homosexual marriage? And why would they call upon a Joan Rivers to officiate a homosexual impromptu, because that's what it said, marriage, right? Because them her peoples. Don't get it twisted. That is her fan base, right? So she comes out and they ask her the question about, will there ever be a homosexual in the White House? And she takes the opportunity to say, you already have one, right? I'm not here to debate anybody's sexual preference because we don't know, okay? Whether or not Barack is into homosexuality or if he's bisexual. We don't know that man personally, no more than we know Michelle Obama personally, right? But at some point, you have to use common sense. Common sense points at the fact, again, that you can find multiple, not just photographs, not just school records, you understand? Not just the fact that, I'm going to tell you how shicey these people is. This woman has birthed 2 little girls, right? Y'all willing to take motherhood away from this melanated woman in support of your own fucking enemies. That just really makes no fucking sense at all. But being that, we are seeing that there is a lot of mental illness inside of these so-called conscious communities, from the top to the bottom, not just the followers, right? You have some leaders who are mentally fucked up, just really screwed up, straight up pedophiles, straight up haters of women, period. of any nationality, don't matter. You're secondary but necessary. That's mental illness. Putting, again, ideologies before yourself and your loved ones, that shows that you have a mental illness. So those of you who deal in belief, I could see how it would be relatively easy to coerce you into pushing a narrative that goes against the resurrection of your own people. The resurrection of the Holy Divine Trinity of Mother, Father, Child. Here you have a melanated couple that's successful, that's wealthy. And instead of viewing them as a thriving force or a positive image, you rather say that that woman is a man. And not even that, because again, like I said, that was nowhere on any of y'all minds. Y'all weren't thinking about Michelle Obama being a man prior to this fake shit being put out here. You weren't. Because I know how y'all do. Y'all like to talk. You would have already been putting it out there. But again, thanks to Alex Jones and, the likes, they out here to make money as well as push an agenda of, what they say, make America great again. So again, give away all the land grants to them. And I can't say when they say make America great again, that they're specifically talking about putting us back into servitude. You don't even have to go that far, right? I want y'all to do like special ed and think about it. Let's see. All right, here's another name. You got Guerrilla Media, right? And they were also known as the Boom. Let's see. I'm going to go through it. We're going to call them out. Who was that? Some of y'all listen to George Green back in the day. I don't know what all that is. So you saying that this melanated man and woman in Chicago in the early 60s decided to raise one of their sons, since y'all say Michelle, this is Michelle right here. They decided to raise one of their sons as a little girl. Melanated couple in Chicago in the 60s who had a son and a daughter decided to raise their son as a little girl. If you don't get the fuck out of here with that bonanza bullshit. Y'all been drinking the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Sponsored by your enemy. So you knew the Kool-Aid wasn't no good already because of the source. what is this? Let me get back to where I was at. Okay, and I'm done with it. Let's get back to this. Hold on. Again, I'm not a fan of the Obamas. I'm a fan of the truth. Right? We know how y'all feel about the truth. Wow. All right. Let's take it down. Let's go back. Take it home with this here. So it's y'all boy Ambassador Prince Michael. Now let's about the Michelle. Let's go back to Michelle Obama for 1 second. And say Obama call Michelle Obama Michael the same way you call a sister Daniel. You say Danielle. When you say Michael, you still saying Michelle. When you say Michelle, you still saying Michael, Miguel, Michael, Michelangelo, Michelle, Michael, Miguel, Michael. Y'all do the y'all mess with the connotative and denotive, how you say that shit. Y'all mess with all that Eddie man. So you know I'm telling you the truth. The same way you say Daniel, Danielle, Danielle, Daniel. You know women named Daniel or Danielle. You know men named Daniel or Danielle or Danielle. Michelle, Michael, Miguel, Michelle, Michael. Same fucking name. Robert, Roberto, Umberto. Same shit. So next. Then another thing. I'm sure. I'm not gonna say I'm sure. I just assume I'm making I will put a bet at a certain percentage that Barack is at the very least bilingual or trilingual. And y'all say his name is someone else and he is someone else. Who y'all think started that shit? Who do you think a melanated man or woman said, hey, we want to see your birth certificate? N-word. You're not going in that White House. You don't qualify. Where's your birth? Who y'all think made all of? Do you think it's a fucking coincidence that all of this fake shit came out? Again, when you get somebody melanated or partially melanated with a fully melanated woman on his arm inside of their Casablanca. So let's deal with this Wakanda. They say Wakanda did not originate from America. And it's 584 comments on here. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I want to. I'm like, let me see what's going on. You see, this is my comment. Wow, let me see what's going on. And this is the thing. People making bets will bet me $50 to the person who named the American mountain that can, one, be cited as a logical source that inspired the fictional mountain, and two, have a better comparison than Mount Kenya. I'll wait. None of y'all effing with me. The answer will always be no, I'm not debating, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And mind you, this is based off of the movie Black Panther, right? And when the movie came out, brothers and sisters start to realize that, hey, wait a minute. Wakanda, there's a Wakanda here in the Americas. A landmass, but is not a mountain, right? But the Wakanda over in, where is that at? Is that in Uganda? Forgive me, y'all, because it been a minute. Because this argument actually started in 2018. So, and I'll be correct with that because that's when the movie was released. Well, my point is this. Well, you see somebody put Pangea up, you know what I'm saying? But how is we arguing about it? Either way it goes, the people who are responsible for this superpower that they speak about populated every nation known to man, or was the very first to roam whatever land you point your finger at, whether you pointing over here in North America or whether you pointing over there in the Congo or Kenya or wherever. Nobody predates us. No people who carry recessive genes can predate us anywhere on this mother plane, as I always say. So I find the argument like asinine based on that. Now I understand that I don't want to be disrespectful to the particular clan who has kept the culture and customs of those from that particular area, because over here we didn't keep shit. It's embedded in us genetically, you understand, but most of us aren't coherent of it. So Kenya, it's in Kenya. Okay. And I mean, they is really arguing about this. And keep in mind, none of us made a penny off of the film. So boom. So when we talk about Wakanda over here specifically, they're talking about Wisconsin, right? And again, the ancestors are on both sides. So it's really, it's not the argument to be having, but being that you have brothers and sisters who cling strongly to a Pan-African movements, right? I'm not saying nothing is wrong with that. That's your choice to make. But then you have brothers and sisters who have advanced in their knowledge and scholarship or whatnot, and have found that our ancestors, again, were the first to populate this entire mother plane. So us being so against one another, for lack of a better word right now, because I'm sleepy, that word Africa comes to life, which is the split and cut up into pieces, right? Because we keep doing that to ourselves. We would come out better and save a lot of pain and insults and injuries to agree that all 7 continents are still inhabited by us, right? I don't see it. It's not a wise decision to put one over the other because they both were invaded. You know what I'm talking about? You can talk about, well, America is ran by the invaders. Well, when I look over there at those nations, the majority of them have been colonized as well. And whether the movie be based upon over there or over here, again, it's a stupid argument. It's a stupid argument. Because we not getting shit out of that. Nothing, not a dime. They will still be over there shitting and pissing on the beach. And we'll still be dealing with the problems over here that we deal with as well. So with that, I say peace, y'all.